And so this right here is my final portfolio, if you like. I've disclosed the other two in previous videos. Right here we can see I have Humacyte, where I hold over 7,000 shares. And I also have Precision right here, where I hold almost 1,750 shares. And so as many of you know, Humacyte is a company that I've been tracking quite consistently on this channel. They have a very advanced pipeline with one product, the ATEV, the acellular tissue engineered vessel, which is also known as Symvess, already approved by the FDA for vascular trauma repair. They're attempting at the moment to get this same product, so this ATEV, the acellular tissue engineered vessel, approved for dialysis as well. And so a couple of important things to note with this stock is that sales so far for vascular trauma repair have been quite slow, simply because it's a very niche indication or problem that people experience, typically for patients who have suffered in war on battlefields, where they've had shrapnel blasts or they've had severe traumatic injuries to their arms or to their legs. But as we can see, they're quite advanced in this phase 3 to use this same product in dialysis, which would significantly open up the patient population, and that's one of the reasons that I've invested in this stock, is simply because they've already demonstrated a level of proof of concept, in the sense that they already have the product approved by the FDA. The results from the phase 3 trial so far have been incredibly positive, and I've invested in anticipation for a potential approval in 2027. One of the things that many of you will know is that when I'm investing in biotech, I follow a very specific playbook, if you like. When I'm investing, my selection process is very specific. The first thing I'm looking at is inside ownership. And right here we can see the top shareholders of Humacyte. The first one is Fresenius Medical Care. This is one of the things that I'm really looking for, is that if there's a biotech company or a pharmaceutical company that have partnered in some way with the company that I'm investing in, that gives it a level of credibility. On top of that, we can see this individual called Gavril Yushvayev right here, who holds 4%. Gavril Yushvayev is an outside investor, and as we can see here, Gavril Yushvayev has a net worth of 2.1 billion. When I look in further detail at the inside ownership of Humacyte as well, we can see Ayabudge LLC that hold 1% of stock right here, and the Nicholson Living Trust, which holds 0.5% right here. And this is significant because both of these entities are managed and controlled by Laura Nicholson, and Laura Nicholson is the CEO and president of Humacyte. And so essentially what I'm doing with any biotech stock that I invest in is, the first step is to check the inside ownership. Like I said, I'm looking for a biotech company or a pharmaceutical company that has potentially partnered and aligned with this company that I'm looking to invest in. And I'm also looking at the pedigree of the insiders. Are they innovative thinkers? Are they world-class leaders? Are they pioneers in their industry? And essentially I'm aligning with that said individual. And so Laura Nicholson is a physician scientist and has been recognized for groundbreaking work in vascular and lung engineering, which has made her a world leader in regenerative medicine. And so like I said, I'm looking at the inside ownership. I'm also looking at how advanced the pipeline is. Naturally, treatments that are in preclinical or phase 2 will be more risky than a biotech stock, which is in phase 3. And so looking at the data, my personal assessment is that I'm quite confident that Humacyte's Symvess product, the ATEV, will be approved for dialysis, which is why you can see that I hold this stock right here, and I hold it in a number of other trading accounts too. And so Humacyte is trading at 92 cents at the moment. This is because of a number of dilutions that have taken place over the last year. They've issued more shares to the market, I think around 3 times so far over the last year, because they need to raise more money to help with the expansion and growth and sales strategy for this, and also to fund them through to a potential BLA and possible approval for the dialysis indication too. And so that's the critical catalyst coming up for Humacyte. We can see right here, Humacyte stock rises on positive dialysis trial results and plans to file a supplemental BLA to the FDA during the second half of 2026. And this is in relation to this dialysis AV access. And so this is a critical inflection point for the company, simply because it opens up a new patient population to their Symvess product. And with that, we may see a huge spike in the stock upon completion of the SBLA, the Supplemental Biologics License Application, which would be submitted to the FDA. and then this potential approval into 2027. We can see here there's a mean price target of $2.05 right here on the left hand side. When we look here, there are a number of different analysts that project different price points with a high of $4, which we can see in the bottom right hand corner right here. Now, my personal opinion is that this mean average price target is quite low. I can see this rising significantly on the potential approval of the Symvess product for the dialysis indication. But I'd say that one of the problems that a lot of people are looking at is around the slow uptake of the Symvess product for the vascular trauma indication. It's been quite slow. You know, they've had to dilute numerous times, which is why we've seen the share price decline from, you know, $5, $6, $7 to where it is at the moment. One of the things you'll see with me is that I like to look for distressed biotech stocks that have potential for a significant upswing because they have a number of catalysts coming up, combined with how I assess and analyze companies, you know, looking for inside ownership, looking for billionaires, preferably billionaires that are owner-operators, so they're involved heavily in the operations and the delivery and the execution of the company. That's not necessarily the case with Humacyte. With Gavril Yusufyev, he's more of an outsider who's just invested. Nonetheless, the partnership with Fresenius gives that a level of credibility too. And what with a previous FDA approval for Symvess for vascular trauma and positive data news for the phase 3 for the dialysis indication, you know, I'm hugely optimistic of positive news for this stock in the future.